So I had a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago who ended up sending me a picture of Kyle Hamilton from the NFL player rookie premiere photo shoot that they do every year. And he was telling me, he said, man, just looking at Kyle Hamilton, I think he's going to be a bust, JT. I don't think he's going to be all that great. So you know what I did? I picked up my iPhone and I gave him a call. And I'm not going to say I educated him because it pretty much was a scolding. You feel me? Because I feel it was really disrespectful. The fact that the Ravens were able to steal Kyle Hamilton, it's a crime. It should be an absolute crime. You see, as a Steeler fan, I really hate the fact that the Raiders are really, not the Raiders, the Ravens are really good at drafting. They really are. There aren't too many draft picks that the Ravens missed on. The Ravens at least draft a Pro Bowl caliber player in almost every single draft, literally. And Kyle Hamilton, man, he just brings something different to this defense. And I was telling my friend this. I said Kyle Hamilton is not your typical safety. Kyle Hamilton can play anywhere on this defense. He can play linebacker if you want him to. Maybe you can play him in the slot, blitz him off the edge. He can play safety. He can play single high. You can line him inside the box if you want to play cover one. But what role is he going to have on Baltimore's defense? Because there is a little bit of trickery when it comes to getting the most out of somebody who has Kyle Hamilton's skill set. Let me give you guys a good example. Remember when Isaiah Simmons was drafted by Arizona a couple of years ago, and he struggled out the gate as a rookie because Arizona didn't really know how to use him, and they didn't really know what position he really was. They didn't know if he was a linebacker or safety, so they had to experiment. And with that experimentation, there came a lot of growing pains. But eventually, Isaiah Simmons was able to finally settle in, and he ended up being a pretty good pickup for Arizona. So when you look at Kyle Hamilton, I don't think the Ravens are going to have those kinds of struggles because their new defensive coordinator, Mike Macdonald, was the defensive coordinator for Michigan last year. And remember, Michigan had probably one of the best defenses in college football. They didn't have the best defense. That belonged to Georgia. But their defense was phenomenal. And one of their key players on defense last year was defensive back Daston Hill, who also, like Kyle Hamilton, got drafted in the first round. However, he went late to Cincinnati. And he was used all over the place. They were kind of using him in, the slot, safety. He was just all over. Now, him and Kyle Hamilton, they're not the same player, but they do have similarities in their game. Even though Daxton Hill is way more explosive, he has a lot of twitchiness in his game. But for Kyle Hamilton, he's really rangy. And if you put him inside the box, this dude does work. He can cover tight ends. He can guard running backs coming out of the backfield. So if you have a Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara, you put Kyle Hamilton on them, that should pretty much neutralize that. So you are matched up against really good pass-catching backs. You can put Kyle Hamilton up close to the line of scrimmage, and that's how you can handle that. You can also blitz him off the edge. When you think about his role on this defense, I think he's just going to be doing a little bit of everything. And the Ravens still do have Chuck Clark. So I do think with the fact that if Baltimore decides to keep Chuck Clark and they don't trade him or get rid of him or whatever, I think that brings a lot to this defense because then you can use some 3 safety looks. And then on nickel and dime packages, you can sub Kyle Hamilton in as another linebacker. It's just a lot of versatility that he brings to this Ravens defense. So when you think about his role, I don't really think he's going to be locked in at a specific role. I think he's going to do so many things. And also, he can cover because some people are wondering how he would fare in a 2 high, or if you even want to put him as a 1 high safety, because people have questions about his speed because of the 40 time that he put up in the combine. But when you watch his film, I see somebody who runs way faster in game than what he ran at his 40 time. And this isn't a guy who is accustomed to running, because if you go back and you watch his 40-yard dash, he was running all over the place. And the 40-yard dash isn't really a testament to true game speed. It really just, I really don't care too much about the 40-yard dash, to be honest with you. I saw Kyle Hamilton against Florida State last year come from all the way on the opposite side of the field to pick off an interception on the sideline. So for Kyle Hamilton, he can do whatever Baltimore needs him to do. But I really expect him to play somewhere between, not really between, but I expect him to play close up to the line of scrimmage. I really feel that's where he's at his best, because not only can he cover running backs, but he can also cover tight ends, which is really important, because if you have an offense that has an elite tight end, it brings a different element. It's really hard to defend the Travis Kelce, a Darren Waller, and a George Kittle. So you bring in Kyle Hamilton to kind of slow those guys down. It kind of makes it difficult on the offense, because then you have to find other players to throw the football to. Because when you have a dominant tight end, they're really difficult to deal with. So for Kyle Hamilton, I expect him to play up really close to the line of scrimmage. I expect him to be utilized in a lot of different ways on the defense, because Mike McDonald did the same thing with Daxton Hill. And although they are different players, you can kind of utilize them in similar ways. However, if you put Kyle Hamilton on the slot, I don't think he's going to be guarding slot receivers, because he doesn't have great short area quickness. So I think if he ends up getting matched up against slot receivers, I think he could potentially struggle there with the faster slot receivers in this game. However, if you want to put him in the slot and use him, the blitz off the edge and whatnot, sort of as like another pass rusher in a sense, I think that also will work as well. So for Kyle Hamilton, man, his role in this defense, I just think he's going to be doing everything. You're going to see him lined up everywhere. The dude's going to go crazy. I expect him to be in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year, because for Kyle Hamilton, for him to fall to the Baltimore Ravens was just a match made in heaven, because for Baltimore, they love players that are really good when it comes to doing a lot of things in the secondary, man. I mean, you think about Deshaun Elliott. I was kind of hurt to see him go. He was one of my favorite players to watch. But you look at Kyle Hamilton, he's an upgrade in a sense. And I think Kyle Hamilton may end up being one of the best safeties that the Ravens have had in a very long time. I'm not going to say he could potentially end up being as good as you-know-who. Not going to say that. But I expect Kyle Hamilton, man, to do a lot of phenomenal things in this defense, because he's going to be put in situations where he's going to be able to get he's going to be able to put up the kind of numbers that you need to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. You think about what Michael Parsons did with the Dallas Cowboys, not only playing linebacker, but lining up as an edge rusher. You're kind of going to see a little bit of that. Not, what Michael Parsons was doing per se, but you're going to see him lined up in so many different positions on the defense, and he's going to have so many opportunities to make big plays that are going to be impactful for this Ravens defense. And as a Steeler fan, I'm really kind of worried about him, because for a team that kind of struggles to throw the football downfield, when you got a team that likes to run a lot of short passes and quick passing concepts and whatnot, that really isn't ideal when you have somebody of the skill set of Kyle Hamilton. So let me know what you guys think Kyle Hamilton's role is going to be in this Baltimore Ravens defense this upcoming season. I'm really excited for what he's going to be able to do, because really he's just one of those players that you just say, listen, man, we're just going to put you anywhere and you just go play football. However, with that kind of versatility, he is going to have to be able to pick up the playbook pretty fast. I'm pretty sure they're going to ease him into things. I'm pretty sure they're not just going to throw everything at him all at once, but there is a little bit of a learning curve. And another reason why some players such as Isaiah Simmons and Kyle Hamilton are prone to struggling is because they're not really good at one position per se. Because they spend so many times flexed out at other positions that their reps at one spot are kind of limited. So for Kyle Hamilton, with him doing so many things on Notre Dame's defense, you kind of wonder just how good is he in a certain aspect. But I think that Kyle Hamilton is going to have a really good rookie season. He's one of my 3 finalists for the award. I think that he's going to do wonders for this Baltimore Ravens defense. This was a defense that struggled a lot last year, especially against the pass. So for Kyle Hamilton, even if you want to line him up and just use him as a true safety, kind of would defeat the purpose of drafting him, because when you have somebody with the skill set that can do so many things, you kind of got to take advantage of it. But if he does have to be a true safety and you line him up alongside of Marcus Williams, I also think he can do that. I think that he's pretty good in coverage. Some people think he's too slow, but I don't know, man. I just think maybe I'm kind of overrating him, and I am a little bit biased because I had him graded as my number one player on my draft board. But with the versatility that he brings and the fact that you have a defensive coordinator that is accustomed to being able to utilize somebody of this skill set, I think that he's in a situation where he should succeed. I think he's going to have a really good rookie season for the Baltimore Ravens. But let me know how you guys feel about Kyle Hamilton down in the comment section down below. And what role do you think he's going to have on this defense this year?